Good morning, future builders and innovators. Welcome to Manufacturing Day 2021. My name is Tracy Jenkins. I'm the Corporate Relations Representative for Brewer Science. This year, the theme for Manufacturing Day is Creators Wanted. You have been personally selected to this event because I know that you are the future innovators and creators that we need to keep Missouri manufacturing moving forward. Missouri manufacturing currently ranks 4th in the United States with over 6,500 manufacturers and employing over 270,000 people. That's very impressive. We have a great lineup of Missouri manufacturers for you today. Each will talk about the products that they make and the careers that are available. My challenge to each of you is to ask questions and think of ways that you can become a creator and an innovator. It is my pleasure to introduce you to today's moderator, Rick Prue. We are grateful to have Rick with us today. Rick is the Area Business Manager for Missouri Enterprise, representing the Central and South Central regions. His mission is to ensure that Missouri manufacturers are successful. He does that by finding solutions for their most pressing challenges. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you allowed me to be a part of this again. We've been a part of Actual Manufacturing Day for many years. It's so important to manufacturers, especially right now. People having trouble finding people to work in manufacturing, and it's not because it's old style manufacturing. I mean, we're talking about clean operations and lots of automation and things like that. So it's very exciting to be in manufacturing now. Missouri Enterprise is the largest manufacturing consulting, overall manufacturing consulting for all operations in the state of Missouri. We are the only organization that receives federal and state money to help manufacturers excel and be more profitable. We are also a fee-based non-for-profit. Since we get some federal funds and things like that, we have to match those. So, but the federal and state funding help us to keep our fees down. We've been in operation since 1984, so that's 37 years, and have been the go-to resource for manufacturing operations for that length of time. I've actually been with the organization for 32 years. I'm a fourth generation Missourian, and I want to see my Missouri friends and neighbors have good jobs, and manufacturing offers those. And I'm also real energized by seeing all those kids in the classroom. I tell you what, this old man, he needs some of that youthful charge every now and then. So I'm really excited by seeing that. So thank you everybody for being part of this today. Our first manufacturer that we're going to hear from is Suzanne Riker. She's the talent acquisition manager for American Plastics, one of the largest plastic products companies in the United States. So Suzanne, I'll let you take it from here.
Great. Thank you so much. First of all, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm so happy to see all the students that have joined. I hope that this will help you all as you move forward to your future to kind of understand a little bit more about the opportunities that there are in manufacturing. I do work for American Plastics, and we have a factory located in Jefferson City, Missouri, so not real far from some of you. We make storage products, so a lot of the totes and plastic bins that you may either have in your room, in your classrooms, maybe even in your garages that you might buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon, Sam's, and Walmart. So those are the products that we make. We're injection molding. So we do a lot of different type of equipment in order to manufacture the products. So we have presses and we have robotics. So we hire people in all facets of education, as well as people to run the organization. So along with manufacturing, it obviously takes all the office people, such as what I do with the organization. I hire people and try and find the right people to help run the company. So again, I hope that you will always keep in mind when you're out shopping with your parents, think about where things are made and support the USA made product and support your Missouri made product, American Plastics.
Here at American Plastics, we take pride in creating a family atmosphere for our employees.
What I like about working with American Plastics is that these guys are like a second home to me.
We put a lot of effort and money into creating a clean, safe work environment for the employees.
The thing I probably like the most is probably the other employees. They seem really knowledgeable
If I need help with something, they're willing to help.
We don't want anybody getting hurt, and we want to make sure that it's a positive place for people to come.
I really like my job. I like the hours we work. I enjoy my days off.
You work on average about 15 days a month and you're paid weekly.
I love the hours. I only have to work half the year, and it gives me half the year with my regular family.
Here at American Plastics, we've invested in our employees.
We offer benefits at 60 days. That includes medical, dental, vision, vacation time, holiday pay, and we have a very generous 401k with company matching. We match dollar for dollar, 3%.
A lot of the stuff that we are doing is to create job security for our employees.
You meet a lot of different people. The management has been very, very helpful.
Me being still kind of newer, obviously I still have questions here and there, and they seem pretty understanding to answer the questions.
We've invested in new machinery and made their jobs a lot easier. We've added auto banders to the end of our lines so the employee does not have to band the product and put it on the skid itself. We also have invested in robotics to pick and place the parts so there's not a lot of heavy lifting.
We offer advancements within the company. We like to promote strictly from within.
We've installed fans at every one of the machines to make it more comfortable for the employees at their job, and gone out and gotten new customers.
If you're looking for a new career with a growing company, come out and see us at American Plastics.
It's a really good company to work for, and I'd recommend other people to join us and become our family.
We are looking for good quality employees here at American Plastics. We hope that you want to join our team.
So Tracy, are you ready for me to introduce the next one?
I am ready for you to introduce Hodges Badge Company, Rick.
All right. Well, if all of you out there have received a blue ribbon or ribbons or medallions or trophies, there's a good chance you may have gotten that from this next company. With us, we have Tom Durkis. He's the Director of Manufacturing with Hodges Badge Company, and Amy Wright, the Director of Human Resources there. So take it away, guys.
Hello, the site changed. So I am actually Rosa Camper. I am direction as supervisor for production. And this is?
And I'm Tom Durkis, the Director of Manufacturing. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Tracy and to Rick for hosting this event. This is our first year being a part of this. We're very excited to be a part of it. And I would agree with what Rick is saying. It's nice to see all the students and the energy that comes from the students. So again, very happy to be part of this program today.
So a little bit about us. Hodges Badge Company has been family owned in its entirety, and we are over 100 years old. So we started briefly just by doing everything by hand. So we are looking for you all in your classrooms to come be our next innovators. So we are constantly developing what we're doing. We actually, this is something that we make that we used to do by hand that we now have a machine for. And it took somebody like you who said, wow, I think I can do that better. And so they developed a machine that does that. We work in a clean facility. We wear what we want to wear home to work every day because that's the way we work. We work in teams. We're family oriented. It is just amazing. So yes, the next time that you get something like this, one of your ribbons, flip it over. There's a good chance it's from us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hodges Badge Company, family owned and operated since 1920. Every year, right here in Washington, Missouri, we turn more than 12 million yards of satin into custom manufactured quality ribbons, flat ribbons, rosettes, and more. For more information about our amazing Missouri manufacturer, please visit hodgesbadge.com.
Okay, next company up. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, here we go. Rosa, so sorry about that. You know,
That's okay.
I'm getting old and kind of miss some things once in a while. I had you on here. I thought there was a substitution, but we got everybody there going. So thank you so much. The next company
I own that part, Rick.
so, now, I should have caught it. Anyway, Royal Canin is a company here in Rolla, Missouri, and make high quality pet food. And of course, we're glad to have them around. So you're going to hear from Trevor Morgan, the production manager out there, and Sasha Stratman. She is the training coordinator out at Royal Canin. So take it away, guys.
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. As you mentioned, Royal Canin. Has anybody in the presentation, have you ever had a Skittles or an M&M or a Snickers bar? Yeah, so that's all made by Mars Incorporated. It's one of the world's biggest private companies, and Royal Canin is actually owned by Mars. So Mars makes candy and they make pet food. If you've ever seen Pedigree in a Walmart store, that's a Mars product. Royal Canin is in a very special area of manufacturing for Mars. We actually make veterinary pet food. So what comes out of this factory, you can prescribe to sick cats and dogs and cure them. So there's lots and lots of neat stories from our business about how we've rescued pets that are very, very sick by feeding them our product. You won't find our product in most stores. If you go to a PetSmart or a Petco, somewhere like that, you'll find us on the shelf. It's a really cool thing we make here. We have a factory right here in Rolla, Missouri. We employ about 120 associates in this factory. When you think about pet food, you should think about a giant kitchen. That's kind of how our factory works. We mix the ingredients up on one end, cook them in the middle, and then put them in a bag for the cat and dog on the other. To the point, manufacturing has come a long way over the years. You think about kind of the dark and dingy factory of the past. That's not what we have anymore. We have very clean facilities, great places to work, very engaged associates in what we do. So as you get older and think about where you want to go work, manufacturing is a great place. It's a neat job to have and a great career to maintain as you get older. So think about us as you move along.
Hey, hello. So I'm the site admin and training coordinator here at Royal Canin. I've been here about 3 years, and my role is really based on running our training program. So we hire on associates probably once a month. We are hiring right now for packaging operators, extrusion operators, and there's plenty of growth in the factory. Trevor actually came in as an industrial engineer, and he was promoted within 2 years to production manager. So like you said, this is a great place to work, and I'm happy to be here today.
Okay. You're talking about clean workplaces. I've never been back in the production area, but I have been to Royal Canin several times and visited with folks out there. Just about every time they got like hairnets on and these clean white uniforms and booties, and so you're talking about very clean operations, and like was said before, most of the time people come, they've got the clothes they want to wear home, so don't. We're not talking about the dirty manufacturing you may have thought of before, very highly automated and things like that. Next company, it looks like Brewer Science is up. I do have a question. Were we going to have Brewer Science is next on the list, it looks like, I guess? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Brewer Science, the handsome guy you're looking at there is Jeremy, or you're going to be looking at is Jeremy Light. He's the senior manufacturing manager out at Brewer Science. Known Jeremy for several years. Good guy. They're very, very concerned with quality out there, and we're very fortunate in Raleigh to have this high technology based firm. So I'm not going to steal any more of your thunder, Jeremy. You take it from here.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Rick. Good morning, students. Like I said, Rick covered a lot of things there about our quality and things like that. It's very important, as well as like what Royal Canin talked about the clean environment. Manufacturing has been a staple where it's been known to be dirty, but it's moving to a better direction this century where things are cleaner, and you can go home and still be clean the way you came in the door. So a little bit about my background. I've been with Brewer for a little over 20 years now in the manufacturing facility. Love manufacturing, love the way it's growing. It's a great opportunity for you students to look for a career. It's just growing everywhere. But a little bit about what we do at Brewer. We do make chemicals for the microelectronic industry. The devices that you all hold in your hands, the phones, your video games, and the TVs that you watch. We have a big part of that, Brewer does. We sell to just a lot of companies that our customers are worldwide. So it's just amazing what we do here in Raleigh, just in the small town that we're in now, what we do for our community and things like that, and what we do for the industry. We work in a very clean environment, clean room type environments and things like that. Mixed chemicals batches of different sizes go from a 10-gallon batch all the way up to about an 800-gallon batch. So we do a variety of things. We have a lot of automation. Our new Vichy facility out at Vichy, Missouri, by the airport out there, is a fully automated facility, and we still do a lot here at Raleigh that is manual process. And Rick has seen a lot of that when he's came in the building. We've adapted some process improvements as we go along. So a lot of opportunities here at Brewer and in the manufacturing world, but a lot of opportunities that we provide here for growth. We do offer training in the facility or outside of the facility, wherever it would be, to make yourself better and to grow better within the industry. One of our biggest things is how it will become a lean process, how we make things leaner and quicker, but still giving the customer the best product they can get. So it is a very awesome opportunity that we're going into these days. I know you hear the doom and gloom on the news, but we have not slowed down any. I think our visitors on the call today have not seen us slow down in their industry as well. So like I said, anytime you want to visit with us, give us that opportunity. We'd love to have a chat with you all. Hello, my name is Jeremy Light. I'm the manufacturing manager here at Brewer Science in Raleigh, Missouri. I want to talk to you today a little bit about careers in manufacturing at Brewer Science in Raleigh. First of all, we have several facilities here in Raleigh and Vichy that cover manufacturing and operations. We have our main Raleigh site, which is a more small volume manufacturing. We also have our large volume manufacturing site at Vichy, Missouri as well. What we do here at Brewer Science, our chemicals are made for advanced lithography, wafer level packaging, and printed electronics. We are a leading technology innovator with the world's semiconductor, micro, and nano electronics needs in their industry. Some of our careers in manufacturing are a huge range of careers that we have here, and I'll just talk a little bit about the ones we have in operations in the manufacturing department. We have our executive director of manufacturing, our director of manufacturing, the chemical manufacturing manager. We have our production planning manager, our manufacturing floor supervisors, and then our global logistics and training compliance supervisors. In our manufacturing, we have several opportunities just alone in that area alone. We started out as a manufacturing technician. You can go up to a engineering technician, senior engineering technician, and all the way up to a senior manufacturing technician. So there's a lot of arrays of jobs, titles that you can have as a career in manufacturing. And you don't have to have a degree to work in our manufacturing departments here. We train you here. We have a good training program that we train people up from the ground up that get certified in the process of making our chemical and our batches here. The manufacturing career development allows a lot of things at Brewer Science. We have a communication classes that we do that teach you time management, verbal and written communication skills. Our leadership management, we do team lead skills, we do project lead skills and people management skills. We do all kinds of things like that that teaches us to be more lean in our processes. Our technical skills, we continue education courses. We do offer short courses that are offered in our conference rooms and things like that. So there's all type of opportunities for lateral moves in the company. So a little bit more about our opportunities. Not only do we have opportunities in manufacturing to build the batches, we also have opportunities in our quality control departments where the material is tested before it goes to the customer. We also have our material handling team, which moves material within buildings. We also have our shipping department, which packs and ships our bottles. We have engineering positions where you can be a process engineer and troubleshoot the material with the teams. So we have some pictures here of our glass reactors where we do very high temperature synthesis processes. Some of our blenders, we have 90-gallon blenders. You see our 300, 500, and 800-gallon system. You see the capacity we can do. We can do 90-gallon capacity. We can go away to 10-gallon capacity depending on what our customer needs are. Customers may only want a very small amount of product, but they want the quality that we give them out of a higher volume system. With this type of systems, we were able to do that for them. These are some of our mixers that we currently use to blend our roll-around systems in. More of a portable type systems that we use here in manufacturing. Some of our bottling processes, we can do automated bottling. We can also do manual bottling, but you'll see throughout the facility, some of our automated bottling machines where the bottle goes into the end feed, gets filled to the desired weight and comes out and gets capped and bagged. We use those quite a bit for our high volume systems. We have done some remodeling in some of our facilities, so you have a clean room type of walls. Just a brighter, cleaner looking area. So that's some of the processes that we do in this area. This is a picture of our clean room, of our manual bottling. We have a class 100 for automated bottling and a class 1000. So the lower the class, obviously the lower the particles are for those clean rooms. That's where we bottle our products at. So you've heard a little bit about our opportunities here at Brewer Science and the capabilities we have to offer manufacturing positions or just anything in our operations facilities that do not require a degree. We would welcome you to reach out to us and contact us. We can give you some more information about opportunities here at Brewer Science.
All right, and I want to assure everybody watching this today, the companies you're seeing today are top-notch places to work, and we really love everybody to consider careers in manufacturing. That's desperately needed in our country right now, and a great chance to advance very quickly. Also, I've noticed Jeremy was standing in front of one of the paintings there. When you go into Brewer Science, you're also going into an art gallery. Several places throughout the installation, you'll see sculpture, you'll see painting, just all sorts of things. So just about anything for all the senses out there. The next company, Hartman US. I've been in the facility there 3 or 4 times. It is an amazing facility. When if your parents buy eggs and you bring them home in that little gray carton, there's a very good chance those were made in Rolla, Missouri. So I'm going to let Lisa Crater tell you all about that. She's the human resource manager out at the Rolla plant, and I think she handles all in North America. So Lisa, take it away.
Hi, Rick. I do just the U.S. location, just to clear that up. But I just want to say it's an honor to be here today, and it's exciting to see all the students that are excited about manufacturing. So I do work for Hartman US. We're part of the North American division, and Hartman as a whole is a global company. We're in 17 different countries. And Rick is right. If your parents buy eggs, you probably have our product. So I've actually got a couple of our products here that you can see the different types of products that we make. Our products are all 100% biodegradable. So it is pretty interesting. For you students, you could probably think of it as paper mache as far as how our process works. But like some of these other manufacturers, I mean, we too have many different opportunities from production all the way up to engineer, quality, shipping. So it's just an honor to be here, and hopefully at some point y'all will be looking for jobs and we'll have an opportunity to interact.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your recyclables once they leave the recycling center? Your newspaper, for example, is loaded onto a truck and taken to Hartman Packaging. At Hartman, your newspaper is processed into paper egg cartons. Those same paper egg cartons return to your own community for sale again on the shelves at your local Kroger. Thanks to people like you recycling your old newspaper, countless tons of trash are kept out of landfills each month. Make a difference in your community. Recycle. Funded in part by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, so that's if you've never been in that plant, and I know everybody's a little concerned about people coming in their plants right now because of COVID and things, but when things kind of loosen back up, most of these folks are glad to, maybe host some students or something once in a while just to try to let you see what's going on there. They're really fun if you get to go on these plant tours. That's one of the highlights of my job. I get to see manufacturers all over Central and South Central Missouri. So the next section here now is your chance to ask questions of any of these companies. We'll kind of go in order of the companies. And so if you've got a question for them, and then we'll just kind of step through them. And so be thinking of some questions for them. The first one, I guess we'll go to Suzanne Riker with American Plastics. And I'll kick it off with a question. And then if anybody else has a question, maybe that gives you a chance to get your creative juices flowing there. Suzanne, can you describe the kind of the work schedule with your company? I understand you have kind of a 15-day a month type schedule, which is pretty unique.
Sure. So it depends on the role that you have with our organization, but our production workers, maintenance, supervisors, things like that, they do what we call a 2-2-3 schedule, which is 12-hour shifts. So for example, they may work Monday, Tuesday, be off Wednesday, Thursday, and then work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it completely rotates. So every other weekend, you have a 3-day weekend. So what that means is you are working 12 hours a day versus 8. So that means you're working less days per month. So it equates out to about 15 days a month, and you're still getting paid for a full-time job. So a lot of people do like it for the fact that they get more time off with their family. They have long weekends every other weekend and things like that. So it's good in manufacturing because it allows us to run a 24/7 operation. So 7 days a week, every day we are open and operating. And then it allows us to have, let our employees have more of a normal work schedule and more time off versus working 7 days a week like some organizations end up having to do to keep up.
Okay, any other questions for Suzanne? Tracy, I got a question for you. Do they just ask them on air here, or do they do it through the chat?
They can type it in the chat. If they have any questions, if any of the students have questions, just type it in the chat.
Okay.
And I can read it to you or let you know.
Yeah, and as we move on, you might have a question later. We can always come back, to get those. We want to make sure everybody has a chance here. So seeing none right now, additional for Suzanne, let's go to Hodges Badge Company, Tom Durkis and Rosa. Hey, I got it right that time. So since the need for ribbons and awards, that kind of declined during the pandemic. What did that require your company to make any changes at all?
It did. We were fortunate in a couple of respects because we are an event-based business and a lot of events didn't happen, but we were fortunate in that we have some equipment that we could pivot quickly to making masks, which we did right away once the pandemic started. Started out with just sewing the beautiful white mask that everybody was wearing at the time. We also have equipment to be able to print or actually dye sublimate cloth as well. So we were able to make some custom masks at that time. Couple of other things. We'll talk about the puzzles a little bit.
Oh yeah, so we partner with some local businesses as well, other manufacturers. One of them you might have in your own home. They're puzzle makers. So everybody was buying puzzles to stay at home, and they experienced such an explosive growth that they needed more hands to help them package. We had the availability of our folks that are working on the floor who had some extra time. So they would bring us their puzzles and we would package them for them. And interestingly enough, while we saw our business go down at the very beginning, then people got really creative. And maybe some of you even experienced this where you started competing in online things. And all of a sudden, people went from doing things in person to doing them online, and then they would get a medal or a trophy through the mail. So it was awesome. It was awesome how we were able to shift what we were doing and then to come right back now when everybody is getting together and having their events and loving life again, that we are busier than ever.
Correct. Yeah, it was great to see the shift, as Rosa said, people trying to make the best of the situation. Like I said, having events virtually or whatever they could do, but still wanting people to get their awards. So it was good to see.
Tracy, did I see somebody had a question on the chat?
We do. We have a question from Dr. Light's homeroom class. One of the students in her class would like to know about the enjoyable aspects or the fun of working in manufacturing.
Ooh. I love my job. I actually, even as the supervisor of production, I started on the floor. I started by making some of the things that we do. And for us at Hodges Badge, it's a lot like arts and crafts every day. We make really colorful things. We use laser engravers. We use UV printers. We hand assemble things. So I truly enjoy seeing what someone else is going to win. And just knowing that feeling of that triumph of getting an award, working so hard for it, and knowing how much they're going to appreciate that and maybe hang it up on their wall, take it to your classroom. A lot of the schools, you guys have trophy displays. We make trophies as well. So it's a great pleasure every day to work in manufacturing for me.
Anybody else want to take that one on a little bit?
You know, the biggest thing that makes our job fun here is to see what our end result is once we're done with that project or that process, and seeing the change that we make at the end of it when it gets to a customer, and seeing the things that are on the shelves and things like that, and say that, you know, we did that, we made that chemical that went into that electronic semiconductor. And that's one of the big things that the fun aspects about our manufacturing, and seeing the end result, seeing the completed project.
Yeah, and for Royal Canin, it's really similar. We're connected to our product in a neat way. We get to put something in the bag that actually improves the health of pets, right? So if you're a pet lover, if you have a dog or cat at home and it's ever sick, they're going to come to a Royal Canin product, very likely to improve their health. So it's really about the product we make. It gets me excited to come to work every day, and I get to feel like I'm making a real difference by what we do.
I would say too, here at Royal Canin, all of our team is like family. So when you come to work every day, it's like working with your brothers and sisters, and we get to help save a pet's life. And there's a lot that goes into the production of the pet food, and it's really interesting.
There's another great question.
Yeah.
So we don't have mascot pets at our plant, but most of our plants in Royal Canin and some in Mars are pet friendly. So like our main office in St. Charles is a little bit better, but people actually bring their pets to work. So you'll bring your dog to work with you. It'll hang out with you in the office while you're at work and on your computer, and it's a lot of fun. Something we do that's a bit different than other places. I wish I had mine here in the office to show off, but normally it's downstairs.
I was gonna say, you usually bring your pet in. We have one person bring in a little French bulldog too, so we like to take them around with us. And
those Frenchies are pretty cute. Those Frenchy bulldogs. So let's move to the next question. So this is also Trevor and Sasha, while you're on there, I'm not sure exactly how you want this. Just give us a feeling for how much product you put out in a month, in a day, whatever your measurement is. I don't know if it's in pounds or what. Give us a feeling for how vast that is.
Yeah, so I'll give you a great big number at first, and then we'll get down to what that looks like in a day. So in a year's time, we make about 60,000 tons of pet food, right? So that's kind of hard to put your mind around. So when you think about like a big truck rolling down the road, you know, a big semi truck with the trailer behind it, we put out about 12 to 15 of those trucks worth of pet food each and every day out of this factory, 24/7, 365. So it's quite a lot that we send out to market. And what's been interesting about this business, and we talk about, you know, slowdowns in manufacturing, is that because of COVID, we actually sped up. So people went out and adopted pets, and they were stuck at home, so they wanted a pet for their home. So actually, our business has grown considerably given the pandemic, which was kind of an interesting turn of events for us.
Okay. Question for Jeremy over at Brewer. People probably don't realize that, but without your product, microprocessing wouldn't probably be as quick, and the instruments they use to do this, that they have in their hand, would probably be larger. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good question, and a little bit of example of how things get smaller and quicker and faster is our technology here and our continuous growth of making the process better, cleaner. You know, we're always striving to be ahead of the competitor. So our R&D folks are over there making things better and quicker. Our processes are being improved. Our raw materials we're fighting to get those cleaner. So any of those things we can do and to modify our process, like when we're building the batches, those things just make that leading technology just better.
I don't know if y'all saw that chat. Tracy, can you reread that question?
Yes, it looks like Dr. Light's class would like to see, or like a brief description of Royal Canon's plant. What does it look like inside? I know you said that it had 3 parts: the beginning process, the cooking, and the bagging. Can you kind of give them some details on what it looks like?
Yes, we'll take that as a note for next year to get videos of the inside of the factory. Yeah, so we have a big mixing tower. So all the raw materials come in and we put them in big silos, and then we grind them up into fine powder. So there's a mixing tower. It all goes together and gets blended up. And then we have what's called an extrusion process. So it's basically like a giant kitchen. It's big equipment that takes that powder and cooks it and turns it into the kibble. And then that kibble goes to a packaging hall where it's put into our packages, and all the air is vacuumed out, and we nitrogen seal it to make it last a long time and keep it fresh for pets. And then on the far end of the building, we have a warehouse. So I'll take that note. We'll get some better videos of inside the factory next time.
Okay, Lisa, over at Hartman. Everybody knows eggs are fragile. They break easy. So what goes into making an egg carton that can ship an egg all over the country and not break?
I've actually got Bruce, our plant manager. He has joined this meeting, and I think he was going to answer that question for the students. Bruce, you're on mute.
Hi, there we go. Nice to meet everybody. Yeah, so there actually is a tremendous amount that goes into protecting an egg. Obviously, an egg is relatively fragile, and it all starts with the design of the egg carton. Egg cartons, because of the huge amount of cost that goes in to all the tools to be able to make it, an egg carton actually does not change design very often. They typically last about 15 years before the design changes. But it starts with the design, how the egg is actually held within that cell, all of the structure of the fiber that goes into it, and then ultimately things like we add chemicals in it to increase the strength. We even add a chemical that takes the little paper fibers and actually causes them to separate some, and you create little more bonding sites. So all of these things go into creating a carton that actually protects the egg. And we actually even do egg breakage studies. So we'll work with customers like Kroger, and we'll take a full pallet of eggs, 2,000 eggs, and we'll drop it and we'll shake it. And then we actually go carton by carton and count all the individual eggs and see if there's breakage. And that is an industry test to ultimately determine how good your package is. And also, I would like to say, I think I might drop my resume off at a couple of these other places. They seem like great places to work.
Well, I think that's all the questions I have, but I think a couple more came in there, Tracy. You want to handle those?
We did. We got a couple of more questions. Mrs. Almany's class would like to know, as successful manufacturers, do you have any advice for our students? Would anyone like to answer that?
This is Suzanne. I'll take that question. I would say the advice would be figure out what makes you happy. What do you like to do every day? What is, for example, at Hodges Badge, if you're someone that likes to be very creative and maybe design, that might be a great avenue. At our company, if you like engineering, you like to design things, you like to create product around big, heavy equipment that we melt these little pellets and then they get injected to this mold that kind of is like a clamshell that kind of goes like this. That might be an avenue for you. And then also think about in manufacturing, people like me and some of the other people on this call. I might not be on the production floor every day, but I'm making an impact on who I bring into the company, or perhaps how we handle the people within the organization too, if you're in human resources and things like that. So my biggest advice would be to figure out what your interests are and then cater those interests into what type of a job you think that you would enjoy. Because I truly believe you go to work and you spend a lot of time there. So pick something that's going to make you happy.
Thank you, Suzanne. I have another question from Mr. Chance's classroom. They want to know, they're a business class, and they want to know if we have our own, if any of you have your own distributor or distribution, or do you work with other intermediaries? So who would like to take this question?
I can answer real quick for Hodges Badge. We actually sell direct to the public, and we also have another part of our company that does work through distributors. That branch is more like promotional products. So we are able to reach small individuals and that may not know about us, but may be contacted by a distributor.
And it's Bruce. If for Hartman, we actually don't sell direct to the public. We do sell to a couple of small companies, and they actually will be the ones that will sell very small quantities, say to a small farm. They may only end up selling 50 cartons to a customer. Typically for us, when we sell our cartons, we're selling huge quantities at a time. We'll get an order for 100,000 cartons. Our plant makes 9 cartons every single second. So every second of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're manufacturing cartons. And like I said, it's 9 cartons. We're expanding, and by the beginning of next year, we'll actually be manufacturing about 15 cartons every single second.
That's excellent. I also have another question from Dr. Light's classroom, and they want to know, do you use recycled material other than newspaper to make the cartons?
So from our standpoint, there are various paper products. So if you think like a corrugate box, so that Amazon package that you get, we'll also use those types of papers, a magazine that you may get. What's happened over time, our product used to entirely just be manufactured of newspapers, and there's less and less newspapers. So we've actually had to invest in technology to be able to adapt our product to be able to handle different types of paper product. The only other type of recycled material that we use is we wrap all of our bundles. So we'll make 150 cartons and we wrap it in plastic. That's to be able to transport it. That plastic has a recycled component involved in it as well.
Thank you, Bruce. We have another question from Mrs. Almany's class. Actually, this is not Mrs. Almany's class. From Anita, what does an entry-level job look like in your company? Does anyone want to take that question? I'll give that to Jeremy.
Yeah, I'll take that. An entry-level position at Brewer Science for a manufacturing tech is, we don't require any type of experience, obviously. We kind of train from the ground up. So a person would come in the door here and do their normal their normal safety training, things like that. Then they would begin our training with an industry, which we start the process of the batch. And we take that and cut that up and train that person to the individual processes of it. So it takes a couple months to get fully trained, but there's different steps to making the materials, so they get trained in each important area of that. So that's the steps of an entry-level position, and then you can grow up from, you may within time and depending on your experience that you get here, you can grow with a lateral move up to 3 or 4 different positions that we have up in the manufacturing department.
Thank you, Jeremy. Our next question we have is Mrs. Albany's class. A student would like to know how long you had to train to become a manufacturer. So Jeremy kind of talked about that a little bit. Does anyone want to talk about in their industry what the training time is?
I would be happy to take that one. So it all depends on what you want to do. So we have folks that have never had any manufacturing experience, have never been in a factory in their entire life, and they come in, they learn what we do here. And then we have folks that are engineers, that are in design, that are doing R&D, working with pets out in the field to understand how our nutrition supports that pet. So there's all different kinds of backgrounds for training and experience to get into the business. And it's not just manufacturing. So we have HR here, we have IT here, we have computer science folks that work in Mars and Royal Canin. So a giant diverse background of people that support our manufacturing environment with all different levels of skills and education.
That's the same at Hartman as well. We have people who have just completed high school, and this could be their very first job. We can train to the very first job within 24 hours, and they will be working in that role. And much the same as some of these other locations, we will have people who there will be requirements, say, to have a degree in something like automation or a chemical engineer or a mechanical engineer. And then others have just had other types of manufacturing experience and then may come to us in the same respect, and we'll train them. And it's also it's kind of great to then see if they quit us and then go on to something else that they deem will be a little bit better in their life as well. We actually just I think, Lisa, I think today, isn't it, we've got an employee who's going into more the medical field, yet they've been with us for 2 or 3 years. And this just provided a great opportunity, a good job. They earned some money and continued their education in the meantime and went on to something else that they were then passionate about.
That's excellent. Do we have any other questions?
I'd just like to add, I've experienced with manufacturers all over the state, and if any of the students will consider manufacturing, you have a chance to stand out in this manufacturing right now. If you will show up for work every day, if you'll be conscientious about it, care about what you do, you will stand out and you will be rewarded. You can move up pretty rapidly by just having those basic, good work practices and care about what you do.
I agree completely, Rick. I want to thank everyone. We're not finished. We have a couple of videos to show at the very end. I wanted to make sure I thank everyone. American Plastics, Suzanne, Lisa Crater with Hartman, Tom and Rosa with Hodges Badge Company, and Amy Wright that's hiding, Royal Canin, and Bruce. And if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. And all of our students and Jeremy here. And this has been a great opportunity. I hope that you learn something new today that you didn't know. I hope that you leave here with some questions and want to further your education to learn about manufacturing. So the biggest thing for me with manufacturing and the excitement that I get with manufacturing is the continuous pivoting and changing that we do all the time. So what we're doing today, we might get done with that and we might get bored with it, but tomorrow it's not going to be the same thing. So we are always making improvements no matter what we do at Brewer Science or any of the companies that we've talked about today. They are continually improving and changing that product and making things better for everyone. So that excitement includes, inventing, research and development. It's all over the place. So if you are interested in STEM, if you're interested in math, yes, we have accounting, we have HR, we have all support groups along with the manufacturing. So there is a big variety that you can have going into it. And thank you again all for watching. I appreciate all the excitement and the pride that everybody has for their manufacturer. Missouri is a great place to be, and manufacturing is going to continue to grow with all the pride and the passion that we have. So I appreciate all of you. We have a Quaker window video and a wrap up with Brewer Science video. We will be sending out the the video later on for those of you who couldn't watch the entire program. But again, thank you all for your interest in manufacturing and education.
I take pride in what I do, building quality windows and doors for homes and businesses all over the U.S.
I make a difference in my life and in others.
We're more than a team, we're friends, we're a family.
We make the Quaker difference every day.
I enjoy working for a company that cares about its employees, offers great pay, and even better benefits.
I am Quaker.
We are Quaker Windows and Doors. Our employees are making the difference every day. Learn how you can too. Buy online at www.quakercareers.com.
Hello, my name is Ryan Bush-Jost. I'm the Supply Chain Planning and Logistics Manager for Brewer Science.
Hi, my name is Ray Vanoy, and I work in the Analytical Testing Unit.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Rasmussen, and I'm a lab analyst here in the QC department.
And today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of our Vichy facility. This is where we make our leading edge lithography materials.
I test many of the samples that come from the R&D group, and what we're focusing on is trying to characterize the products that the R&D associates are synthesizing so that they are meeting the needs of their customers. The first part in our process involves the submission of samples by research associates. So they will bring a sample to us and submit it, and we are able to find it in our system and determine whether or not we need to test it on a GC or an HPLC or whatever instrument is necessary for the test. So for the sample that I processed, I was able to collect the sample and then further dilute it with a solvent where I'm actually trying to precipitate out the polymer that is in the product in order to protect the instrument. We are trying to analyze a residual analyte or a residual chemical in the product, and the technique that we use requires us to remove the polymer in order to not damage the instrument. So I, in essence, precipitated the polymer and then put the remaining solution on the instrument so that we could analyze it for the residual analyte. So once we report data to the submitters or our internal customers, they then will decide whether or not the material is passing their specifications or the customer specifications. We do not determine in the lab ourselves if the material is good or bad, but the person who is responsible for making the material is going to determine if it's passing or failing.
As raw materials come in, we go through a sampling process. Those materials are then submitted into our quality control laboratory, which we'll look at shortly. They go through a series of testing then before being released for production. After production is done with it, again, samples are submitted into our quality control lab. Those materials are held here in the warehouse area until they are released and ready for shipment.
So here in QC, we receive a variety of samples from multiple departments in the company. Our main customer is manufacturing, so the majority of our samples are coming from that department, but we also receive samples from engineering and R&D. So once we receive the sample, we'll look up in our sample log what types of tests need to be performed on that sample. Depending on what those tests are, it will go either into the clean room or into the lab, or possibly a combination of the two. The main tests we perform are ICP-MS, which analyzes the ions in the sample, so such as how much tin or titanium or silver or any of those metal ions, copper, nickel. We'll look for what the concentration of those are in the sample. Some of the other common tests we do are thickness testing, because the thickness of the material that coats on the wafer is very critical for our customers. One of the other main tests we do is GC or gas chromatography analysis, and that allows us to look at what the actual individual solvents or chemicals are within the sample that we're testing, because it's usually a mix of chemicals. And that lets us know that we actually synthesize the correct material, or that we actually put the correct material in the bottle. So once we're done testing the sample, we'll take the data from whichever instrument we ran the testing on,
and we'll input it into our QC database. That database basically keeps track of all the data we generate for a given sample. We'll evaluate it to make sure that is within our passing limits, ensure that nothing looks off or suspicious that may cause a problem with our customer. And then if all the data is passing, that final product will be shipped off to our customer and hopefully to be used in your future computers and cell phones.
All right, so this is our quality control laboratory. As I mentioned before, when materials come in or when they're finished with production, we submit samples into the lab here for testing. They test a variety of physical properties about the material, viscosity, molecular weights, trace contaminants, and that. They also check the physical performance of the materials as well to make sure they conform with our customer specifications. So to give you an idea, some of the detection limits and the quality levels we're looking for here, we're testing trace contaminants and metals down into the parts per billion and pushing into even the parts per trillion range. So to put that in perspective for you, 1 part per trillion would be the equivalent of trying to find 1/4 within the city limits of the city of Chicago. All right, so here we are in front of our production area. This is a clean environment. The cleanliness is a class 100, as we refer to it. So that rating is determined by the amount of particles in the air in 1 cubic meter worth of air. So class 100, pretty self-explanatory, 100 particles of a certain size or larger within that 1 cubic foot of air. To put that in perspective for you a little bit, your general home or that is probably in the neighborhood of 500,000 or greater. So pretty clean environment that we're working in here. Another kind of point of reference for you is a clean room environment where they do open heart surgery is also a class 100. So we're working in that equivalent of an environment. In our production process here, generally we're doing blending processes, purification and filtration on our materials. All of that is done through an automated production process. So we take a lot of the human factor out of there for that and to improve the consistency of our products. All right, so here we are in front of our packaging area. This is where we take the bulk material and we actually put it into the containers that we'll ship to our customers. This again is a clean room area. Where we actually do the bottling is even cleaner than where we manufacture. So it is a class 10 area. Just for reference to what we were talking about in terms of the cleanliness of manufacturing. In this area, along with our manufacturing area, we utilize automation. That automation adds to the consistency. It also helps with the quality of the materials. By being a fully automated process, we take away the human interaction with the product while it is being packaged. That aids in really that quality aspect, because as humans interact with the product, we expel particles from our body, from our clothes, which could be a potential contaminant into the product itself. So the people working in this area, they will wear special clothing, and we have special operating procedures to ensure that we do not have any negative impact on the product as it's being packaged. Here we are in our warehouse area. This is where we store all of our incoming raw materials, all of our consumables, and all of our finished goods once they're through with production. On the other end of the warehouse here, we have our logistics area where we pack materials and prepare them for shipment to our customers.
And I think that's a wrap. I appreciate all of you working with us today in Missouri Enterprise. You guys are great supporters. We've had all of our students, yay, all the excitement. I appreciate all of you. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.